Welcome to Alive on One, Marvel Crisis Protocol and supposedly other miniatures gaming podcast. I'm here tonight with my co-host, Jin. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Steven?
You know, it's going. And we're also here with our special guest, Sean, who is a man, I'm blanking on the word. I was going to say, we'll just say excited foes player.
What's going on?
Right.
Thanks for having me. Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. We're all good here. We're a big family here. Sorry, that's what we do in the shadows quote. The character Colin Robinson, who's like an energy vampire, hilarious. So watch the show. But he's like, yeah, when you say we're a big family here, you can get people to do all kinds of demeaning shit, like ignore their families.
Man, I love that movie. I haven't watched the TV show yet, so like
you gotta get on it. It's so good. Yeah.
They have don't they have like 5 seasons of it or something like that? I heard it's popular.
Yeah, and none of them are like inherently bad. So
nice.
There's like a few episodes that are a little weird and not great, but I think any kind of sitcoms like that, most of them are like kind of very, very funny. And for the Jersey folks who listen to us, they have one of my favorite episodes is where they go to Atlantic City. So they don't play in ACO, but maybe someday.
If you're from Jersey, you just watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like that's
Isn't that Philadelphia? Then?
Yeah. Listen, I am born in Jersey, right? I'm from South Jersey originally.
Don't tell the pork roll guys that.
Yeah, so they know that Philly is a nice little even split there.
Oh, and that's where one of our events that we'll host, mentioned later, is going to be in a month or so. PAX something or other. Oh my God, what is wrong with me?
PAX Unplugged.
Thank you.
There you go.
I'm remembering one word, but not the second one. So, all right. So without any further ado, we'll go through our normal shtick. So Mike, skip to 22, and then maybe we'll be done by then. Characters alive on one. So I don't really have any alive on ones that I can remember, but I do, however. So I took like a week off for our listeners, and I was just kind of playing Shadowland Daredevil and Dormammu before I switched kind of full time to the new webs. And it's a fun like kind of beat up list. The Shadowland Daredevil with Mephisto, Loki. And you know what? To be honest, I kept forgetting about the Loki pings on the Mephisto beam a couple times, which kind of bit me in the ass one time. So, but anyways, I was playing into X-Force, and I don't know. We were playing on Meteors, and for whatever reason, my opponent, the turn before I got my 3, whatever those are called, the 3 Mephisto tokens, decided to put his entire team in like a line on the middle E. And I felt really bad, but needless to say, they all were dazed by the end of that activation. So sorry. I'm sorry. Also, my dice were rolling hot, but I had Zemo rerolls because it was like Mephisto was right there, my Zemo was right there, Loki was in 4 of the middle one, so it was just that's like the worst of all scenarios. So that's Alive on Dead, our new sister podcast. I felt really bad. I even like after that happened, I went, I'm so sorry.
If you have to apologize, then it's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair too, like I don't know, maybe it's just an experience into Mephisto, but don't line your models up like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When you have like a very powerful beam. Jin, looks like you got something here.
Yeah, so I got to play a little bit of foes recently, and I ended up slapping on Carnage onto the field. We were on a D shape versus an ASM team, so that was a little miserable for the first couple of turns because Carnage was rotated away from. So I was like, I'm gonna get you. So eventually he made it into the clump of spider people. He proceeded to be blasted several ways to Sunday, and then. And he had 6 HP left, so he had a slow token on him. So Noir cashed out the slow token to put him within range of a silk trap, and it left him just alive on 1. So I was like, okay, well, I guess we're going first. Okay, no problem. I just need to have him kill everybody, and we'll be fine. So what he ends up doing is actually does a statistically builder into Noir, somehow dazes him, And that guy does not go down very easily, which is great. Then I could paint the town red. Then I
Your favorite
proceed to
color?
yes, it's very lucky, as the
Wait,
kids
is red
would say.
actually your favorite color?
No, it's not actually.
Okay.
You just
Anyways, segment aside, continue.
that's
Jim.
more of a Chinese cultural thing, which that's the thing you're an expert on, Stephen.
Oh, correct. I actually knew that, but I didn't want to assume.
Yep.
It's good luck, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So Lucky Carnage proceeds to go and do a 7-die attack.
He's celebrating the new year.
Celebrating the New Year's. He heals it completely back up to 0. Hits Silk, who he custom upgraded earlier. So now it's a 9-die attack.
Oh my god!
Into her. So like it's like okay, cool, and then like I managed to do like several bits of damage to her. All right, but she what was it? Yeah, and then I think I then do a attack into. Oh, I'm sorry. I completely screwed this up. I killed Iceman with the Paint the Town Red. Silk traps, gets away from me, but then I Carnage rules her back into my frame and then hit her with that. That dazes her, and then I have enough power left over to do a maximum Carnage somehow through everything, and I proceeded to do only 1 damage to Spider Ham.
Of course, it's the ham.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like that. Of course, Ham would be the one that he's fine.
He's kind of like he's kind of just like I kind of want to put a 3D print of like a middle finger on a base.
I mean, he is that as the character, you know.
Peter Porker. Oh my god! All right, well, we're only talking about webs in the context of destroying them this episode. So
yeah, so yeah. Otherwise, like that was like a 1 in a million things. Like obviously, my opponent probably should have won that match, but because of this weird like rolling avalanche that's Carnage in some games, like he just pulls it back.
Yeah, I've seen him do that like more often than not in some of the games I've watched online. I'm sure we'll talk about Carnage later, but his new card's pretty good, I think. So
he is pretty okay. That 8 health is a break point, I think, a lot of times.
Yeah, it's like the magic at 6. It's just like the right sweet spot to do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sean, you got something here?
Yeah. Once again, we're gonna follow in Gian's footsteps and go against Webs again. So I was in a tournament in person maybe like 3 weeks ago, and I was playing 6 wide webs, and I was playing foes. Go figure.
Webs don't go 6 wide. You're lying.
You're right. They go 7. So basically, the long story short is I custom upgraded onto 3-threat Doc onto Gwen. Gwen was injured, and she was alive on 1. Miles was off the table, so reroll was no longer in play. And with custom upgrades, I was rolling 2 6-die wilds count as double on his builder, whiffed them both, and proceeded to throw something into her. The brace was still online, so I proceeded to throw her into a building. She braced it. She ran away to a corner Shiar secure, and where Goblin was hanging out at, Goblin had 2 cracks at her again. He whiffed on both of his dice as well. Well, he didn't whiff, but the saves were immaculate. And basically, she, next turn, was able to move around the board and flip all of the Shiar Empresses and squeak the game out. So
you gotta love it. Just wait till she rolls skulls and bumps.
Yeah, wait till she bumps out of your range of. Yeah, I know. She's still so good. She's still such a good character. I mean, I know new stuff is gonna kind of.
I don't think it's gonna take Gwen's spot. Let's be honest.
No, but I mean, anybody. I know she can die to a stiff breeze occasionally, but when she doesn't, man, she either. And I know you guys have said this in the past before, but if you don't take her out and you leave her on power, she's a problem.
Yep. Yeah, she also randomly one-shots characters like every 10th game with her fucking 5 dice,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jim. I interrupted you. And I did it again.
First one.
Ding. No, I mean, like, yeah, Gwen's just a character that can transform the board, right? So, like, yeah, it's something you just have to take care of immediately, because if you don't, then you have to be prepared for the board to be rearranged at the end of the round.
Yeah. What I love about I guess now that I'm officially on the web scene, what I love what I love about her as a character is it puts your opponent, and this is what's frustrating, I think, as a player. I played into her plenty of times. Is she puts you between a rock and a hard place, because it's either like you have to commit resources to deal with her, and if you don't, you're kind of fucked. But if you just leave her alone, you're kind of fucked anyways. So she's kind of like always a 1 point, differential type thing, 1 or 2 points. She has low power. She can move, hit, pull, and then move back. So it's kind of like at least a 1 point swing. If you think of her in terms of like VPs, it's like, okay, what do I have to commit to like stop this like VP increase, right?
Right.
So yeah, she's annoying. She's annoying.
This is such a thematic episode already.
Yeah, we're talking about webs. There's a train. Jin's probably web swinging onto it. He's like, oh no, we're talking foes. I gotta get out of here. I do like how both factions, I guess before we even dive into all this stuff, the rest of the stuff, both factions have like similar mechanics, kind of. So it's kind of like cool thematically speaking that they did that in the design space. So, yeah. You got something to say? We do have a raise hand function, so we can do that.
What? I can virtually raise my hand?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I can. Look at that. It's like I'm back in college.
Yes, Sean.
Wonder who put that there.
Not me. All right, so hobby catch up. It looks like I'll ask you, Sean, but so I finished Jin's models, gave them to him yesterday. Still have a couple more things to do. And I started working on my A-bomb, and now I'm going to paint my webs. So that's all I got. Our listener, and kind of, I guess now that I realize how close Jin's shop is to me, a local Shane got me these 3D prints of these webs. They're kind of hilarious. They're also not to scale, which makes them even funnier. So because the team tournament that's coming up, we can proxy. So I'm running new webs there, and now I have this like huge bobblehead looking fucking noir piece I'm gonna bring. And ham is massive. I was like, this people are not gonna believe that's a size 2, but glued those onto some bases today. So
No, size 1.
Oh right, yeah, I forgot he's even more annoying than you had to point it out. Yes, you can hide behind size 2. So that's kind of what I meant, but
Yeah, they see this giant like bobblehead, and like
no, only Noir is like bobblehead-esque. The pig is just like this massive fucking pig. It's really funny.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Shane. He is a great opponent. He is very fun to play against. So, yeah.
Nice. Waller and him had a 35.7 round game yesterday. So.
No, wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
The only reason it broke was because I insist we have our tournament completely on chess clocks, Sean. Mm-hmm. So if the time runs out, then the time runs out. Unfortunately,
right.
And Shane ran out of time. Waller probably had like 4 seconds left on his clock.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
It's the fastest I've ever seen Waller move. He was like, I got to move Shang-Chi.
Just like real life, man.
Yeah, like double move, click. It's pretty funny, actually. Yeah, so anyone do any other hobby stuff?
Yeah, I've been painting Sandman.
Nice.
And he'll never see the light of day, but I'm painting him.
Oh. Well, that's a controversial. Him and Electro I've seen are kind of a controversial opinion, but we'll get to that later.
You mean Sandman and what? Who?
Electro. I've heard mixed reviews. Electro?
I don't know who that guy is.
Oh, you're joking. I was like, it's Electro, bro. He's on a medium base. I think you were kind of gaslighting me there for a second. I was like, what?
Describe him to me. I don't know who he is.
I don't know. The movies he's in, he's not very, Jamie Foxx plays him or something. He's not very good.
He's good there. He's pretty cool there.
He's okay.
He's pretty good there, yeah.
Yeah.
I know Sandman. I always look at him just like it's like I dream about the ceilings, and that always leads me into trouble. sometimes.
Yeah, such a cool model though. I mean, hands down, I have to give it that foes have some beautiful models, and Sandman is a gorgeous model.
Yeah, that box they released last summer was like very top notch for foes. So, or the summer before last summer, I guess at this point. But, cool.
Oh, I will say that I'm on the hunt for some conversions. It's because I do also want to, in case we don't get the webs in time, I do think I'm going to start modding some existing models into them. So we'll see.
Okay. Yeah. What are you thinking
So
of doing?
basically, I have to figure out what's a good proxy for all 5 of the new spiders, basically. But the easiest one first is like I probably have to find a Miles, but actually just finding a Miles these days is actually kind of tough. I gotta say.
What's the most
Like-
cost-effective way to do that too? I feel like there's a
Yeah, I
answer.
mean, like I was gonna say the affiliation box, but that affiliation box has also been out of print for like a while. So I'm trying to source one, but we'll see how that goes, basically. But after that, I think I'll probably just put them on like a Black Bolt like base or something instead, and just sort of like modify from there. Because the big thing is that he just needs to have a ton of lightning like effects on him, and I think that's pretty much good enough.
Oh man, so I'm looking on the AMG's website. So Ben and Gwenom are sold out because Ben would be pretty solid as like a piece for almost all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he's pretty easy to paint too, so you get that turnaround time, fast because it's like what 3 weeks away.
Yeah. So
you said the Web Swinging Heroes box is sold out.
Not the Web Swinging Heroes, but the first affiliation box that had Core Box Peter, Ghost Spider, Miles, and Venom. Like that's actually hard to find these days.
Oh, weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like I feel like AMG doesn't say FOMO, but like the way the supply chain works out, I'm just like it's like crap. If I don't buy this box now, do I ever see this thing again until they repackage them in a 10-man box?
Just call like all the local game stores within a 3-hour radius of you and like see if they have the Ben box because that looks like the one that's most likely to be in stock. So
probably, yeah. I'm trying to do these with the minimum conversion possible, but we'll see how crazy we have to go.
So I did see the Rivals panels at your LGS, Jin, yesterday. So
I actually have that. I won that as one of the raffle prizes, one of the tournaments we went to. I just haven't put it together yet.
Oh, well, they have a second one. So there's 2 spiders, at least.
Right. And by the end, I'll have 5 Dr. Octopuses that I can...
hell of a terrain you'll never use.
I'm just gonna like take my Doc out and just put more arms on him until he has...
Look at my Doc. He's got 16 arms.
I'm just gonna make him quadriplegic. He just has tentacles for all the appendages now. Like
you win. Should roll up to a table. You win. Your Doc is superior to mine. Oh yeah, because I see what you mean. That 4th threat Peter Parker has like the perfect pose for a generic Spider-Man type thing.
Yeah.
All I can think of is the Doctor Strange when he moves his arms and he has like 8 arms.
Oh yeah,
they're all just tentacles.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so we're already at 18 minutes. We're getting close to my time. So life stuff. Yeah, I don't know. My life's normal, kind of school and whatever. So anyone else?
That's it.
I mean, there's not much to say. Like my brain is either thinking about MCP or thinking about, body parts and shit. So
let's circle back to the Doc Ock conversation.
Yeah. How do I combine these, my anatomical knowledge and MCP? Actually, fun fact. So when I was first, like a year ago, when I first started this program, I started thinking about how superheroes could be like, not the ones with like magic and stuff, like magic powers and stuff, but like how superheroes could be anatomically correct. And I found this really cool article. Apparently people have also thought of this. I'm not the first one, like other med students and stuff. And there's this whole article about how Wolverine's claws could be anatomically possible. and I spent hours reading and thinking about it.
Wow.
So the quick summary is his forearms would have to be fucking massive, so he would look really fucking weird because like his muscles, basically the muscles in the forearms, he'd have to develop new muscles to contract and retract his claws. And so those would be huge. Plus, all the forearm muscles would have to like compensate, and then the biceps would have to compensate. So he would just look really weird.
Yeah, this is actually horrifying. So
yeah, he would probably look like a monster. So definitely not like Hugh Jackman with his shirt popped off. So sorry, Disney.
Whoops.
All right, that's my life.
But Steven, imagine if you had Dr. Octopus's arms, how much of a better acupuncturist you would be.
That's true. I could stick needles in everything.
Oh my god!
Just imagine Steven like with middle arms clapping. It's like, all right, well, I need you to lie down here, please.
Ow! I mean, I think that's like, how Doc Ock became Doc Ock in the first place. He's like, how much better would I be as a scientist if I had claws and arms?
What a wild concept.
Yep.
What if...
Now these arms are now powered by AI, so we have crowdsourced the best places to poke you, actually.
Well, that kind of happens in the Far From Home movie. When Spider-Man, like, Jaribo Jarvis is him, and his arms become AI controlled.
Oh, the nanotech?
Yeah. So Marvel thought of that, I guess. They're forward thinking. All right. Anyone else have like life stuff? No. Yes. No.
Jen, anything?
I will just say that I'm trying to figure out more stuff for Copenhagen as this train is currently going through. But
what do you mean?
No. So we're gonna try to get there a week earlier for Copenhagen. So I would like to try to figure out some stuff, places to go, sites to see, and stuff like that.
Are you going to like any other countries?
No.
Okay.
I think Copenhagen's done stuff that we should be fine. We could actually go to Sweden. Technically, it's like apparently like Malmo is like just across the ocean, but you can get there by train. It's like a very short distance.
Well, I was just saying because the trains like take you anywhere for pretty cheap once you're in Europe. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh,
speaking of,
yeah, no one hears it though because our software just cut it out. So there's like thousands of times on the episodes we've mentioned something in the background that just never shows up in post production. So.
Yeah,
look, a unicorn!
It's Neil Patrick Harris.
Who's going to say we're wrong? Who's going to say we're wrong? Nobody.
It's Doc Ock. It's 12 fucking arms.
What? 28 arms? Are you serious? No. Who could say we're wrong?
Ultimate Doc Ock, Sean, not just Doc Ock.
Yeah, right.
He just starts looking like Metal Tangula instead.
What if I lost my whole body and just became arms? All right, that kind of Sunday, I guess. Well, that's fun, Jen. That'll be a good time for you, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Denmark. I've never been to Copenhagen, so kind of wanted to go. But
you can come in last minute and fill in one of the United Nations teams that are looking for players.
That's okay. I don't want to drop $2,000 on a flight right now. So I also, fun fact, don't have my passport renewed quite yet. So
that's probably a bigger thing.
Yeah,
that's seems useful to have. Maybe consider.
I'm working on it. Yeah. So Sean, any kind of life things you want to mention? Or
Oh yeah, my life is filled with fun stuff. So I haven't had the chance to do many tournaments or do a whole lot of hobbying recently because, well, Steven, but my wife is pregnant and we're expecting our first in February. So
congratulations!
Thank you. We're super excited, but it's a lot, to say the least. So I'm sure there's a lot of other people in the hobby that can vouch for that. But
it
is.
I know, like eventually too. Like I know I talk shade about Whalen, but like he has to like put his kid to bed before so there's like TTS time, like shifts and things like that. So
yeah. So I can't wait for the days when I can put the baby to bed and be like, watch Dad as he goes and gets annihilated by webs for like the 7th game in a row.
The rivalry's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, 0-7 can still be a rivalry, right?
It is.
It's a one-sided rivalry, but yeah. Well, congrats too, and that'll be some good, exciting. Oh, I forgot to say the thing. So, that'll be exciting for you, and that's a. Well, you don't know the sex yet. I'm guessing I was going to ask that. But...
No, we're going to be one of the few people that wait. We're going to find out the day of.
If it has a dick, it's a boy.
Yeah. we have. I'm actually kind of afraid because we have the 20-week scan this upcoming week, and I heard that during it, when they go through like the atomically correct portions and parts of the body and all that, there's they'll show. I guess what would you would deem the gender. So we have to make sure that we tell the technician not to show it.
Oh,
because, So and my wife and I are kind of like, what happens if they accidentally show it? Like, what do we do? Do we just kind of like stare at each other and just be like, well,
here we go?
I mean, you can still proceed to create a gender neutral environment. Like it's not required.
Absolutely, that's right.
You could well, I guess your wife can do this, but I was going to say you get blackout drunk, so no matter what, you don't remember.
There you go.
I don't think that's going to work that well, Steven.
Yeah,
probably not.
Yep. They show. The scan will show 47 Doc Ock tentacles.
I hope you should tell your technician. Listen, we don't want to know if it's a boy or a girl, but if it has like 27 tentacles, definitely tell us. That's when you stop and you let us know something's wrong.
All right, depending on your
on your perspective. If you're into tentacles, it's just like a fucking I don't know. It's like New Year's Eve or some shit.
Yeah, it's just nanotech, man. That's all.
Yeah.
It's just,
Listen, some people are going to grow up to be Shimogorov stands, okay, and that's
okay. Okay. Well, congrats and
Thank you.
Well, thank you for listening to our MCP content. Now we get back to our opening things. Hashtag Troll Wayland. I'm starting that now, so you heard it here first. Jin, before we move on to the events, I felt really bad for the what would is Jin all right section. So I don't know if you noticed in our Discord, which you can join below, but I did delete that section.
What are you talking
is Jin
about?
okay? Oh yeah, you still refuse to acknowledge Jin okay.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know.
Are you gaslighting me and like some sort of made up shit again? No,
that's what people do to me. So you're all good. I felt really bad one day. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get rid of this. Now I'll fly through these events. So we just had a tournament yesterday in CT. I guess there will be another one in November. You mentioned at the Battle Standard. Cool.
Yeah, there'll probably be one in November, but that is to be determined, availability and such.
Gotcha. Fall Retreat's coming up in Massachusetts on October 17th through 19th. That's a team tournament. I'm going. Jin's going. Other people are going. Waller's going, I should say, because people actually know who that is. WTC is October 25th through 26th. Jin's going to that with some Pork Roll guys, including like Jeff and Rob and Ben. You mentioned that, so we won't cover that. PAX Unplugged, which you can still join. Sean, you should go to this. November 21st in Philly. It's easier to go to if you live close, because I guess the Philly Marathon's that weekend, so keep that in mind if you're planning your travel plans. And then at that same weekend in Portland, Maine, with Maddox, who will eventually be back on here. He's taking a little bit of a hiatus right now, but just so for our listeners know, I'm pretty sure he's coming back.
Very reassuring.
Well, I hope so, Maddox, if you're listening, because I'm sure he listens to these. Please come back. I miss you, baby. That's in Portland, Maine. They actually just had a tournament at a new store today there in Freeport, Maine, so he was busy doing that. That's why he's not here today, at least. The Standoff in Portland, Maine. That's a really fun tournament. Same weekend as PAX, but the running joke is you can go from Philly and drive up to Portland and game all weekend. Everwinter is then like 2 weeks from that in Boston, December 5th through 7th. That's a great event run by Brian Watson, our local TO. And then finally, run by Jen, is the Captain. I want to say that like Captain Crunch. Catman Con in Warwick, Rhode Island, January 30th to February 2nd. Team event is January 30th to February 1st. Singles is January 30th. So right before the team event is the singles event.
Yeah, sorry, I misconstrued the date. So to clarify, the Friday the 30th is a singles event, and the weekend, which is going to be the January 31st, which is the Saturday, and then first is the Sunday, is the team event.
Okay.
Again, reminder, it's completely Highlander format. So teams of 3, no duplicate characters, crisis cards, or tactics cards. So get inventive.
Have you thought of maybe having restricteds be duplicatable?
Yes, that's a word.
No.
What, are you afraid to not play without brace?
I think everyone's afraid to not play without brace, but Hulkbuster meta it is.
Oh my
Listen,
god!
If this is a tournament gives me to see the most Hulkbuster on the field, I will be ecstatic.
That would be that. Oh man, I would show up. That'd be awesome.
That was actually my first thought when I was talking to Jeff about it at dinner yesterday. I was like, I guess like you'd have to have a Hulkbuster team, and then you'd have to have another team with like brace and like make them really unthrowable or some shit, you know. Anyways, Hulkbuster aside, tonight we are talking about the new and the glorious. We've been plowing through kind of our faction focuses. I know when we first started this podcast, our intention was to run through all the factions. Turns out that actually takes like a lot longer than we thought with adding in other content. So we still got numerous amounts to go, but we did what we do. We did webs, and then we just did Midnight Suns with Jeff, and now we're going to do Spider Foes, and so we'll keep going, kind of plugging these along. They also help the algorithm, to be honest, too, because when people search for like a faction, then your name pops up on Spotify or iTunes. So it's good to have all the factions covered for people who are faction enthusiasts. So today we will be talking about Spider. Yeah, sorry, I'm like shamelessly honest right now.
No, I was going to say I listened to your Midnight Suns Elsa focused Midnight Suns. It was great.
Yeah.
I listened for maybe 2 minutes.
Listen, Jeff loves the bump. I just let him do it. You know? I mean, competitively speaking, too, that Blade is
100%. Yeah, no, absolutely. You're absolutely correct.
And not that we're making these all about competitive things, but Jeff plays competitively, like for the most part. So, like that's where he want to go. So that's kind of where also we want to go to an extent. But if you are interested in characters that we don't talk about on some of these, we do have an episode from months back where Jin and I do a two-parter where Jin and I, and Maddox was on one of them at least, talk about some underrated characters. That one is actually one of our more popular episodes, so you can check that out. I would say we could do another one, but like I think we've run out of characters. Like we did most of the bottom, So, but if you're looking for ideas, you can do that. Maybe we'll revisit that concept because people seem to like that. So anyways, foes. So Sean, as our kind of like foes guest and definitely our foes extraordinaire. That's not the right word.
Yeah, it's fine. That works.
Foes extraordinaire. The guy with like 16 arms.
Yeah, something like that.
Why did so we'll start off with kind of the opening sort of stuff. How did you get into foes? Why did you get into foes? Who are you? I know you've been on here before, but also, what do you find appealing about their lore or playstyle? You can just like tackle that all at once.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'll just do a deep dive for you. So, like, growing up, right, massive Spider-Man fan. Loved it as a kid. I mean, the original Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire was, what got me interested. I don't know how old the movie is, but I was very young. And my dad showed it to me when I was a kid. And it kind of just took off from there. But in terms of this game, I know webs are popular and they're good. And even when the game back in its release, they were really good. So I always liked playing the off-brand stuff, which Steven, you know plenty about. And so foes at the time were kind of the off-brand version. And it was kind of like the lower tier version, where webs were popular and they were doing all this cool stuff and displacing even at in the beginning of the game, and foes were kind of like, well, we're going to go damage heavy and we're going to kind of just give you fun thematic characters and see where it goes. My brain has kind of always just pushed me to I like the puzzles
Yeah.
of foes. And I'm not saying foes are bad because they're not, but at conception, they were still a puzzle, and traps, when Mysterio released and traps were becoming a thing, it was a very interesting strategy to kind of bounce around. And it's some of the synergies are just so cool and so like intuitive that when you get it right and you make it work, it is, it goes off without a hitch, and they can be extremely they can just be very fun and very thematic to play. I think that AMG did a good job with these guys because they nail what foes stand for, and they kind of nail. I think they do.
Especially
I think they
with
nail
that arch nemesis superpower.
That's up for debate. I think a lot of competitive players would look at that and say that that's not it's not as advantageous these days.
Yeah.
But still, from a model standpoint, some people I've talked to think that models like Mysterio and like Rhino are some of the most thematic that you can get. And I agree with that completely. Even we'll get into it later, but even Prowler is extremely thematic.
Yeah. And I do want to caveat here, too. One thing I find interesting about the way that you play and the way your mind works is I think you look at the meta. This may be extrapolating some data here, but I think you look at the competitive models and you're like, I understand why Shang-Chi works. I understand why he's good. Let's see if we can do other things with this affiliation. And so when you're kind of brainstorming, you are a little stubborn. You're like, I refuse to use that model. But at the same time, I think the reason being is because you're trying to figure out different roles and versatility to these models that everyone doesn't know is good,
Yeah, and to speak on that, part of that is I like to play things that aren't as popular, like Shang and Bill and things like that, but not because they're just great popular models. I feel like if you can play some of the models in this game that are a little bit harder to pilot, I feel like it makes those games a little bit more rewarding, and it also helps future play styles. So when I'm playing a list and I can throw Bill in there, I can go, man, I know what his role is and know what he does, and he makes the game a little easier to play. Whereas I'm throwing something that's like Ant-Man or something like that, who's not necessarily tough to pilot, but he's not the great character, to play. So it kind of, there's a wedge between things that get you to think critically and make important plays with your limited
you're not
actions.
Going to throw MK4 in your list just because it's bad.
Right. It really just kind of just makes you a better player is kind of where I'm getting at with that. And I think foes can make you a better player, especially back when in the beginning, because rotating is such a big part of this game. And it's things like that are, I know a lot of people want to go attrition focused, and that's fine. That works too. There are things for that. But these guys really just make you think, because one of the weaknesses of playing foes is that defensively they're not great. They can melt. So how do you put them in advantageous situations to benefit from all the tools they have and keep them upright? So it's like a fun little puzzle to kind of navigate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I totally get that from switching recently to web. Any kind of faction that is flimsy like that, you start playing the game a little bit differently. And Jin and I actually had a brief conversation about this yesterday about Jin's dice being pretty bad for the most part. And to be fair, they're probably average, but when you stop relying on dice and start relying on other game plans, I think you gravitate towards these types of affiliations, like webs, foes, maybe criminal, being the main kingpin, criminal being the main three.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. Absolutely.
Jin, you don't have to raise your hand. You could have there's only three of us.
Oh, well. So, the Spider-Man movie where Tobey Maguire came out in 2002.
Oh,
wow.
Shit.
So, I was 8. Yep.
Well, there you go.
Nice.
We now officially have confirmed ages.
That's fine.
Wow, I'm a lot older than you. A lot more than I thought.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
30. 30. I'll make it easy for you. 31, my friend.
I'm not that much older than you.
Yeah. No way, Sean. You are a spring chicken. No worries. So yeah, I super agree with that. I I really wanted to avoid groupthink. Like that's a big thing when I'm trying to approach people and talk to people about this game. And I think it's a shame if we always just kind of rely back on just like it's like this is like the shiniest rock. Always pick this rock,
Right.
for your rock paper scissors like all the time because it's the best rock. And it just like it stifles the innovation and it does it makes the field much smaller. Like when a new player looks at this game and they're excited to play a character, it's a shame if you only have like really a truncated 50 model list that everyone runs versus like the 200 some models right in this game that you can play as.
And so, Jim, to that point too, like when you stop picking that shiny rock, you learn why the shiny rock is good in the first place.
Oh yeah, no, I mean like I've tried many things. I'm just like, it's like okay, all right, yes, Shang-Chi's really good. Shit, okay, but at the same time, like there are other things too. Like then you look at tools that are like actually decent to them. Like I think Electro is a very interesting thing that you can do against Shang-Chi's, right? Like,
because we'll have some controversial opinions on that later, but yeah.
Well, okay, I'm just saying on paper, right? Yeah. Like
I didn't mean me. I meant Sean.
I don't know who that character is.
Okay. Well, anyway, he's a guy named Jamie Foxx, right?
Let's run through a summary of the entire Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie. All right, but continue, Jin.
So, I mean, on paper, like if you think about things that can escape like range 2 punches and things that can blow up charges, right? Like you start looking at those models as like an interesting like tech piece against Shang-Chi, and he does have 11 health at the end of the day. So if there's any incidental damage, like such as from traps or like from effects or splash damage from explosions, things like that, it's like oh okay, well we're starting to peel back the layers like what could work into him. It doesn't stop him from hitting like a freight train and doing awful things to you, but if you start thinking about things in a different light of just like it's like okay, beyond just like attack dice and defense dice, what else do we have to work with here? And I love this team, Sean, because they have so many different things they can do to people that a lot of teams just don't have access to, which I more to discuss, I think, right?
Yeah, agreed. They also kind of can incentivize, like they're kind of doing what webs do now. Well, I guess what they're going to be doing, which is they kind of incentivize playing in faction and kind of loading up on your in faction models. So you could field an entire list of foes if you wanted to, and be just fine, which is cool for competitive or non-competitive play. And I like that they kind of give you a little bit of everything to work with. But yeah, every model is a weird puzzle, right? Like Sandman is so unique in what he does, and Carnage is so unique in what he does, and Rhino is so unique. You don't get a whole lot of overlap, and that's kind of what I like about these guys.
Yeah. And we should note too that they really filled out the affiliation well, and they're probably more filled out than they've ever been before. But like, I guess a year ago from the summer with that new box, which had Electro, I'm looking at this list here: Electro, Shocker, Sandman, and Vulture. And they just updated Carnage's card for those who have been, sleeping under a rock, and then also with the addition of Prowler in the new boxes coming soon to a store near you in October.
Yeah, I think I would just like to see a 5-threat. That's like the last thing I think they would, just for list building, help.
Yeah. I think that Sandman could have been a 5-threat, but I think that maybe it was a little too wonky to work with. But hey, guess what? We got the next best thing is medium base, medium movers, and there are quite a few.
Yeah, but that's why Prowler is like awesome. We'll get into him later, but adding that because I remember even like over a year ago we were talking, we were like, at least one of the things that we mentioned about foes was like they really need an L mover, like desperately.
Yes,
probably another 3 outside of. I guess Shocker's okay sometimes, but
they fit different models, fit different leader, game plans, and they kind of both work out to.
I guess it's a good transition. Current playstyle of foes. I guess it won't change that much moving into Prowler's release, but
So I have played. I played Goblin at release, and then switched to Ock as soon as Ock 2 came out. Played Ock 2, religiously, and tried to make him work. I don't think either one is the right or wrong answer. They both just have a different. Their play styles are vastly different in what they want to do. I think after finally kind of, I wouldn't say giving up on Ock, but after giving Goblin kind of some time in the light again, I think I'm kind of back on him just because.
Yeah. Real briefly before you continue.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Goblin's leadership is you can reroll, and when you attack, you can reroll an opposing character's defense die, one of their successes. Well, it's any die, right? So I guess if you really wanted to roll out of a skull, you could. No.
For goblins, so you can. It's almost like a reverse pierce. So you can, but it happens at the end, I believe. So that way you can make them reroll their cover. I think it happens after cover is applied, after modifying.
So it's the same time as pierce. So imagine, Steven, it's a pierce, but you don't turn it to a blank automatically. You just have to make them roll that die facing again.
So I'm just curious. You can't reroll skulls from what I'm reading here? Okay.
Yes, it would be a success only.
Yeah, that would kind of be good into the new Web's leadership is all I was thinking if you could do that. But
if you want to stop them from teleporting?
Yeah. But
it is pretty cool against characters like Gambit.
Yeah,
and characters who count as doubles on wild. So like, I mean, if you're Mysterio and you're attacking a magic, right, and she rolls a wild, you can have her reroll it something else, which is nice. So it helps out in those situations. The difference, I'd say, because I mean that's goblins, and then Ox is, if you're when you're targeted by an attack, at the end of the attack, if you're not dazed, you gain a power. So you don't have to take damage. You just have to be targeted by an attack and not dazed. And then, once per turn, obviously, but then it's once per turn again is if you do take damage, then you can opt to pull Incinerate, Shock, or Slow off of you. So perfect against webs where they can dish out slow, like new Miles can dish out slow, and then you can just immediately pull it off with the leadership. So that is nice and helpful. I will say that is good into things like Carnage, like pulling Shock or Slow off of Carnage is really nice.
APOC too, like the APOC magic becomes slightly better because Shock is on APOC's builder, Slow's on Pestilence.
So it kind of begs the question of, which a lot of people go, well, I don't think one leadership is better than the other. I think the difference is how you use it. So, for example, Ox leadership is completely reactive, which means I can't trigger it. I just have to hope you attack me. So it's if somebody wants to play a game against criminals where they don't want to hit me, then I'm not really gaining anything from the leadership. That's why extract game is so important with Hawk, and he plays scenario so well. Goblin is kind of similar, where like you can play scenario and it's still a very it's still a strong suit on their end, but now you get the choice to attack and get that reroll. So it's almost like you kind of put it in your hands. You don't have to wait for your opponent to make a move. You can opt to attack or move or do whatever you need to do. So I'm kind of leaning into Goblin now, just because if I need to push that point of damage through, I get that choice. Where if I'm playing Ock, it's a lot of, well, I hope you're playing, Wakanda or something that's going to want to attack me, so I can gain all that extra power and then use it to move the board and throw you off points and do all those fun things with. And they're both good in their own right, don't get me wrong. I don't think either leader is particularly strong outside of their leadership. I think that Goblin and Ock both suffer from different problems, but I think their both leaderships are both very good right now in the game, and medium base, medium movers, they can rotate just as well as anybody.
Yeah. And on that point too, like I know you've discussed offline about potentially like these days having both in your list, like dual leadership. I'm not sure if you're still on that, and we're not necessarily talking about your current list entirely, but it does seem like because their leaderships are like wildly different, that you could benefit from having both.
You could make it advantageous for yourself. I mean, for example, Ock, I think, is better against Apocalypse than Goblin is, and you could kind of morph your matchups that way. I mean, Goblin and Ock, I think, are both good against webs in their own right, but Ock is more of a, I want you to hit me and give me conditions, and I'm going to react to that, whereas Goblin's just going to try to push through damage, right, and mitigate that reroll. So, um, I mean, they're both. You could put them together in a list. A lot of people don't. Usually, the 4-threat slot is. I mean, you're fighting for spots with 4s. So usually, Goblin doesn't really pair well under Ock, and vice versa. So that's kind of why you see separate lists. And you know, I think we have like 6 4-threats, so it's kind of tough. Oh my god!
I just counted them. Yeah.
Oh my god! So it's really usually too. I'm throwing 5 4-threats in my list, and I consider that, you know, that's tight. And I know 5 is a lot, but like they're all so good that it's hard to, you know, sift through the right ones. So I think you could make it work. I just think that really you're picking one team or the other, and kind of sticking with their game plan.
Okay.
For me, like personally, I think I probably lean towards Goblin as being slightly better on an individual character basis, only because like I think he's able to sort of spend his power like pretty well. That
Yes.
There is a certain point with Doc Ock, Ninja Scientist, that I think you kind of just have too much power on him. And you just don't know what to do because his builder is so efficient that like it's hard to justify the spender sometimes, especially if you have like custom upgrades or something like on him. That yeah, but the throw is still really good though. Like it's a super good throw, but yeah, it's like outside of the throw, like I don't see him spending power that often, you know?
Yeah, I've seen the argument of, you know, you play Goblin and just play Spectacular Spider-Man because he has the same throw as Doc Ock, and I agree. I think the difference between the two of them is that once again it goes back to kind of the reactive, you know, active argument from earlier, which Ock can move, throw, double interact, kind of thing like that. Goblin is, I'm going to hope to gain power, and I'm going to, if I want to use my kit, you need to come to me so I can kind of, haha, gotcha, on, you know, blowing up a building kind of thing. Or, you know, somebody advances an enemy into it, but at the same time, Goblin cannot proc his own kit. You know, he can't proc his own superpowers, so you have to have somebody else help him out, which to me is, it's okay, but I do love characters that kind of make their own kit work. So, like, for example, Mysterio funnels and fuels his own kit. One of the reasons why I don't like Electro is because Electro does not have the ability to turn on his own kit. He needs help. And those are just kind of the less efficient ways. I mean, to tell the truth, if Goblin wasn't a leader, I probably wouldn't be playing him as often. But I mean, his leadership is too good, I think, these days to pass up.
Yeah, makes sense to me. And Silk's coming, so yeah, we'll get to her. But
so add another 4-threat in the mix,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
that's fighting for
it's
spots.
Funny that, like, or ironic, I guess, if that's the right word, that sometimes foes really benefit from Webb's models being in their lists. Very often, like you just mentioned, Spec Silk is another one that's going to be pretty popular, I think, with them. So
I guess the nature of comic books is that there's always weird team ups that can happen for different situations, right?
Well, I like that it's Webb's, at least, because it's like, you know, maybe the Webb's character turned bad or something if you're thinking thematically, right?
Yeah, I mean, Ock foes is kind of like budget Webb's, right? I mean, it's like dollar store Webb's. In a way. I mean, in a way, they're just not as tanky. I mean, they have large health pools, which people could argue is better or the same, but they can melt. I mean, like Jin was saying earlier, Ock, you know, Ock 2 has a ton of power on him, and there's no incentive not to hit him because he doesn't have any defensive tech, and he doesn't spend power well. So there's no incentive to just blast your leader like to ashes.
Yeah, especially like Mystic attacks because 4/4/3. So
mm-hmm. So yeah. you can hit him all you want, and you don't really. I mean, the difference between Ock having, to be honest with you, 3 power and 10 power doesn't really feel all that different. So who cares if you load him up, right?
Yeah, that's true. All right, so that's kind of the current play style. You got 2 play styles specifically, and I know, like, I do know from other forms of media and things like that like you pretty much boil down to when you first make it, because we're getting to must-take models. You basically pick whether you want to go Doc, whether you want to go Goblin, and then you kind of take it from there. So,
Yeah,
and like you mentioned, the 4 slot is like fucking my
it's coveted.
God.
It's
Yeah.
coveted. And to be fair, before we kind of move on, I mean, these guys I think are primarily a scenario focused team. I think that the difference is that Goblin can pivot to attrition if he needs to. If you're put in a position that is not advantageous, like wedding party or intrusions or things like that, he can pivot, whereas
Yeah.
Ak can't.
And it's not necessarily like, I do want to say, there's other, and I guess because you're making a good point here, is like, wouldn't call this leadership an attrition, as strong attrition leadership, but it's enough to like do what you need to do based on the cards, right? Based on their other abilities. So, because it's not like Shadowland Daredevil. It's like every attack you make, if they're on objective, you get to reroll. That's a like straight up. We're just going for damage. Here.
Yeah. You're kind of using it to proc an ability. So like, it's amazing with Mysterio to get that 1 damage through to move somebody. I mean, that's kind of what you're hoping the leadership does for you. It is attrition focused, but I don't really see it in that light. I see it more as a, if I need it, if I need to just get that 1 damage through, this is going to kind of be that 50-50 chance to get me there.
Yeah, and that does come, that happens a lot in games too. So
yes. Like Alive on 1, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I've seen the Doc Ock leadership, like there's been games I've seen that it's like you just the character's just alive on 1, you just need to push that 1 damage through, and it's like 2 blocks to 2 damage, and it's like, oh yeah, with Goblin, you can kind of try to make sure something's dead if it's like at a low health pool.
Mm-hmm. Yes, agreed.
I will say though that foes, although not an attrition faction, they do have a lot of cards that let you bully someone if you can kind of like point them out, right? And it's like okay, we need to take care of this guy, which is really good.
Yes, agreed. They do.
Yeah, well, one of them being Surprise Webhead.
Yeah. But then you could also just instantly like if Mysterio like moves somebody with his attack, right? You could have like 3 different like trap plots.
Yep.
Like that happen onto a character. As like it's like, oh well, okay, that guy could be just dead from this random collision and this trap and this trap here.
The traps are hilarious. I've seen that happen in a couple of games where someone's like moved someone to like hit the Mysterio trap, then hit the Electro trap, then hit the Goblin trap. Goblin's different, but like with the Mysterio Electro, I will point out one really funny thing is because they have different triggers. Like sometimes you'll see the opponent roll really, really well on Mysterio's trigger for Electro. You know what I mean?
That's interesting. I wonder who would do that. I wonder
It's not just you. I watched like a stream game the other day, and I was like, "Oh man, it's a really good Electro roll. Too bad that's Mysterio."
Yeah, I love it when Mysterio rolls 4 hits, and then Electro rolls 3 wilds. I love it.
Gotta love it. Right? But yeah, I guess kind of moving on a little bit to, I guess like your must. Yeah, what are your must? What would you consider? You don't even have to like have this very hard ironclad, but like the must take models. You think?
I think there's a few here. I think that obviously your leader, right, and then it goes Rhino, Lizard, Mysterio, and then I think Kraven is a must-take in lists. I'm not a Kraven lover, but I will say he is absolutely a must-have for when in situations where you need him. I mean, Carnage, I've seen people kind of iffy on, whether they want to play him or not. Venom doesn't really see any play in foes unless you're like diehard, unless you don't care about his speed and you don't care about the fact that he's going to get thrown by Bill into the corner of the map and you'll never get to do anything fun with him ever again. But webs are going to like him soon. But other than
your mutants love Venom.
yeah, I know. And I think he's not released yet, but I already think that Prowler is a must take. I think I've mentioned this before, but funny enough, I'm actually kind of leaning towards, and I haven't done it, and I probably won't, but I had thought at one point to dump Rhino in my lists because I think the last like 5 foe games I've played, I have not taken Rhino.
Interesting.
And that's not to say, that he's not good or anything like that. I just think that we have so many good divers and we have so much good mobility that unless somebody commits an error that Rhino can take advantage of immediately, he's just grabbing an extract for you and hoping he gets hit. He fits an Ock plan a little better, same with Lizard, but they're both perfectly fine under Goblin. You just have to kind of watch their power economy and just make good use of their activations, because people will usually just leave those two alone, and unless they're holding something, they're not going to juice them up. But a leader, Rhino, Lizard, Mysterio, Craven, Prowler. I think that Electro is flavor. I think that Sandman is flavor, and I think Venom is flavor. And you could kind of take those.
Vulture? Is he flavor?
No, oh god,
no, Vulture's is bad.
Listen, I played him a bit for a while, and I had success with the medium move, medium base, just rotating points.
Yeah.
And that can, it can be okay. It's just if he gets targeted, he's going to melt. Same with Shocker. I don't think Shocker is a Green Goblin piece. I think Shocker is either an Ock piece or he is a criminal. I actually think criminals are better for where he sits.
Yeah.
But none of those are must takes either. I think that, the 5, I think, or 6 that I listed, those are your must take models.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. You also don't have to take Ock, the original Ock, the 3-threat version with Goblin. You can for Well Laid Plans, and it's a good card, but I personally don't take it and don't love the card, but he is also serviceable. He also fits the medium move, medium base. I can double walk and attempt to take an M-Cran, or I can attempt a Madman or Guardians point on your opponent's end if you want to get sneaky with that.
Yeah. Is there any desire to attempt Kingpin if Deadline to Destruction becomes more popular?
I always forget that he's a foe, and I tried to make him work in the beginning. I think the problem with if he started with 2 power and he fit the Enchantress, the situation we were talking about earlier, we can just move and throw somebody off. Obviously, he's not going to be able to do that. It's too good. But if he did, he'd be in this list for sure. I think Kingpin, it's tough because he can move around the board. I mean, he's slow, so like if he gets displaced, it kind of feels meh, and he doesn't really have a great attrition output. I mean, I guess you're just you're just banking on yeah, what a great attack. I think you're just planning on rotating with him, and I just obviously, in his faction, he can just do it better, and he becomes more of a piece to take out. My fear is that you play Kingpin and foes, and your opponent goes, well, you don't count as 2. I don't really care about that guy that much, and they just kind of ignore him, and then he becomes a non-factor. Same with Venom.
Yeah.
That's the Venom problem, where you could just go, well, Venom whiffed on his attack. I'm just going to walk away from him. Like, he's no threat to me where I stand.
Yeah, I think unless you somehow can just guarantee getting Infinity Formula all the time is secure, it's hard to justify those 2 kits, right? Because they need power to get going, and it's not a guarantee that they can make the attacks, because of their speed to, get to that power level.
Right. Now, if you are playing something like cubes and you can just walk him to the midline and grab a cube, I mean, yeah, he's probably, we're cooking a little bit there. But nowadays, there are so many steals in this game, and steals are pretty prevalent that I feel like you'll just see a voodoo across the table from you or a cat, and they'll just take it and be like, we'll see ya. I mean, that's what I would do. So
yeah.
I'm not saying I love Kingpin. I just don't think he fits either leadership particularly well. That's all. Because I think that he's better with Ock, but I don't think your opponent really wants to hit him and give him the extra power to turn on his throw. So they'll just straight up ignore him. So then he's relying on his own dice, which then you'd go, well, that's better for Goblin. So it's like, it's a weird caveat there.
Yeah. He's also like pretty, I don't know, if he's not adding that leadership to the rest of your team, it's almost like he's got the same Venom problem where it's like you just displace him and you're like, oh, have fun walking back turn for a turn,
Right.
Yeah. Right. I just I look at this guy's spender and it's like, man, this is such a good spender, guys.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I mean, it's fantastic. But then you also can look at like Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi can move in, attack somebody else, and then just be like, oh, there's Kingpin. I'm going to push him and stun him. And then he feels terrible.
Yeah, that's true.
And
And
you know,
Shang-Chi is, spoiler alert, he's pretty pretty well played these days.
yeah, he's a foe too, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And a criminal.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do still like Rhino a lot though, but you're right. Like because of the way that this robbery is now costed, and he needs the power, like he needs to pick up an objective early. Though I will say that probably in games with like hammers and stuff like that, where you're stacking objectives on him, or if it's like Legacy Virus and things like that, he still probably has a good role to play there, right? To just stop a big stack from
Oh,
somebody.
yeah, don't get me wrong. He's still a fantastic character. I think that he just doesn't offer as much turn one play for you outside of grabbing a point, but he doesn't have to, right? I mean, you're not going to reach for everybody that can do a million things, turn one. But yeah, I think you just need to make him a valuable target. And
Yeah.
if you don't, then I've played games against Webbs where I've even given him. Well, Webbs is a bad example, but I've given him extracts, and they'll just yank him off a point and just leave him. And they're like, "We don't care that you have this extract. You still have to make your way and come get us. And I'm not going to attack you. I'm not going to feed you that power." And it just, I think it depends. I think the best part about his kit is that you run into like APOC, or you run into Wakanda, or you run into Cabal or something that can hit hard. And you love Rhino there because he can just keep taking those punches, and then he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because in my head I was just thinking. I recently watched like a TTS stream game where someone was playing APOC into Rhino, and they just hit everything else.
Yep.
And so the entire game, the same thing we mentioned, where if you're not feeding him power, he feels kind of useless, especially if he's not even if he is holding an extract, I guess, but. The extract puts more incentive for your opponent to interact with him, I think.
Mm-hmm. He's excellent. He's excellent with Madmen and Guardians and being able to teleport and take points.
Yeah.
But now that Silk's going to be a thing,
yeah, we'll get to Silk later. Hold on.
Yeah. But no, it's still a must take. I mean, most people play him every game, and I don't blame you. It's all personal preference.
I do kind of like that too, though. Like, so I was just having the thought in my head too. Like, I think you take Rhino in his affiliation. So like, he's really good in still a really good option in criminal, still a really good option in foes. I do like how they've adapted his card to the fact that like that's where you want him. Ideally, is in one of those two situations, and he's not like splash. Well, also because Hellfire went away because he's really good there too. But
yeah, he's also great. I almost feel like Strategic Retreat, the Spider Foe card, the Tactics card that lets you jump an extract to another foe within 3. He is. I mean, I feel like that card is almost stapled to him, and doesn't necessarily mean that he has to be the one to go grab something. But you need a card where at some point, if you can't use his robbery, then he can still get an extract somehow and become a target.
Yeah. Yeah,
and with that
interaction.
Yeah, and with that large base, he within 3 of a lizard, or within 3 of Mysterio, or whoever's holding a point, isn't as tough as you think it is to set up.
Yeah, we should mention here too, because I just also thought of it, is most of the models too, in terms of like passing things around or mobility, or like almost all of them are on medium or larger bases. So
yes,
you take up a lot of space just with your base size in general. So. That's all I had on that.
Yeah, that is an astute. That's very astute of you, Steven. Great take.
You're welcome. I'll be here all night. All right. So moving on a little bit, let's just talk about. I know. Just off the top of my head, historically, that everyone says that foes are kind of the pay-to-flip faction, along with like Asgard, like being the two most popular, I think. But let's talk a little bit more about your crisis selection. Maybe some splashes that you're considering, and you can talk about those.
Sure.
And then like maybe some good or bad matchups, or more like what rule sets you don't like seeing with that other models have access to, right?
Yeah, right. So, I mean, popular crisis for us is, anything that scores out quick. So, with Goblin, I like to play for my secures. I like to play Guardians. I like to play Mutant Madmen and Emkron. I'm not crazy on Emkron, but Emkron does kind of force some good, attacks early on in the game if you want to get to it.
You know what? I will caveat something too that I just thought of. I think pay to flips were better under Doc Ock leadership.
They are. Doc Ock takes characters that will refund him. I have played Madmen with Doc Ock, ASM, and Vulture, and getting the crits is just refunds you the power back, and those guys are able to kind of hop around the board and do as they please, which is really nice if you can get it to work. But I think that if we have to stand on an infinity formula, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Like Goblin likes it, Lizard likes it. Mysterio certainly does, but just so they can save that power for their kits. But the ability to advance, Lizard and Mysterio specifically, able to advance people off and not have to worry about spending power to interact and rolling. Same with Carnage, right? Having to roll one energy die on meteors is terrible, or things like that. So if you can avoid those, that's kind of why I like Guardians, because no matter what, it's a flat 3 dice. So it means that Mysterio, Carnage, even, I play Rocket as a splash, but Rocket, things like that can roll 3 dice no matter what. They can avoid the tax of their, basically of their kit. But as for extracts, I like to play Spider Infected. That one's kind of no surprise. That's pretty common with how many traps I have in the list and how many traps we have. The advance to trigger Electro or Mysterio or Goblin, or Rocket in mine, or I guess Silk, right? So there's a lot of options there to kind of do power phase shenanigans, which can be really nice. I play Scrolls as well. I like Scrolls because Goblin or a medium base medium mover can pick up your home scroll in one move, which means you still have if you roll what you need to not be pushed, you can still make your way to a secure and double dip, which is really nice. And then
avoid the attrition. Teams.
Or even if you're getting pushed, right, you still have that extra action to just move back somewhere out of safety.
That's what I meant.
Yep. And then unexpected guests, because it follows with Guardians, and we just love I guess this one is the different shapes, but for simplicity's sake, I'm going to say B shapes, just because we love to be able to rotate on Bs like that. And unexpected guest is great because of the push off of if you're outside of 2, I think, of a secure, then you can get pushed towards any, which means I can push somebody into a trap. So it kind of is, once again, I don't have to worry about funding certain kits, like what I talked about earlier with Green Goblin, where he doesn't have the ability to proc his own trick or treat, but the secure and or extract can do that for me.
Yeah, so you're giving some reliability to your game plan.
Yes, absolutely. Now, for splashes, right? So for Green Goblin in particular, there are a couple that I have, but I kind of like to stick with Rocket as my 2 threat. You can play whatever you want. I mean, with Ock, I was running Black Widow 2 threat, and I think she is fantastic in that spot. I ran Black Cat with Green Goblin, or with Ock, sorry. Fantastic in that spot, because if you attack her, then she's going to get her Troublemaker online, even without taking damage. So the leadership will fund it.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a new Spider-Man called Fantastic Spider-Man.
That's later. That's a later.
I started going in my Jarvis. I was like, wait a minute. I don't think that is real.
No. That's next year's release.
Okay.
I play. Well, now I have Silk. But before I had Enchantress for the advance. She's also got a steal. She's got the beam for power. Energy isn't really something we have a ton of. I mean, we have access to it, but not a ton of good energy. We have Sandman's physical beam, but other than that, we don't have any. So she kind of helps with power gen in that sense.
Yeah. Well, as you experienced, Sean and I played a practice game. I think it was your first game seeing Silk or
It
recently.
was.
And
It
you were
was.
like, holy shit. Because she just,
Yeah, well,
I dived her and she started funding her own kit, like right off the bat.
Yep, and that you gotta love that. Like nothing gets better than having to deal with that.
Yeah.
And then my biggest splash that I've actually played quite frequently, anything 18 and up, is I play Dracula here, and I think he shines with Goblin. Absolutely shines. Now, if you're talking Ock has a lot more splashes. So I'm playing, I splash Cat, I splash Black Widow, I splash Frankenstein, right? Because Frankenstein gets good power gen off of the leadership that he desperately needs, and he just heals off the damage. He loves cubes.
This is the first time on a Live on One someone actually using Frankenstein.
I know, right? Hey, this goes back to the I'm not playing Shang-Chi. But he really does fit here. It's not like a fill piece that I'm just using. He does work.
And to be fair, like Shang-Chi does suffer the problem of like I don't know, like what do you do with his power after a certain point? Until he flips, I guess.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm playing Abomination. Abomination's great with Ock as a splash. ASM is a fantastic splash with Ock. I recently am trying to play around with Noir because the leadership funds his reduce. I mean, Bill could go in here too if you want it. Shocker's a good Ock piece, but Ock is once again kind of you're playing Ock, Rhino, and Lizard every game, and then you're kind of either filling with splashes or you're just playing other pieces that you like because the leadership really makes the three of those. It's like a good engine to make them work. Goblin is different, right? I'm not playing Mysterio with Ock because Mysterio doesn't help as much. Pushing that extra damage through with Goblin really makes Mysterio's kit kind of work much better.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm getting at in the beginning, where they kind of have differences in what you want to do with them.
Which makes sense that the splashes would be different. Yeah.
Right. Good matchups we have. Anything realistically that's tanky and is going to take trap damage that you don't have to worry about punching through. So, I mean, realistically speaking, webs aren't a bad matchup for us. So, Apocalypse is also not a bad matchup for us. Which
actually might be why we have seen foes make a bit of a comeback, is because those are, you name two at least of the like three to five most popular affiliations right now of APOC and Webs isn't as much anymore, but they will be and very soon. So
I still think that we have. I mean, Inhumans are still running around, and they're a tough matchup for us, but they're kind of a tough matchup for anybody. I actually think that we have a pretty tough matchup into Guardians. I think that Nova can kind of stop us from pushing damage through, and they can out attrition us big time.
I think Guardians are really good. I would include them in like my top 7 factions right now. I know not a lot of people talk about Guardians that much anymore, but I still think like they're fucking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Midnight Suns for us is a good matchup. We do have access to range 4 energy. So
what about on the 16? Probably not on the 16 like everybody. I'm guessing,
I mean, against iHulk, these guys aren't gonna fare as well. Maybe Carnage is a nice iHulk piece, but there's a lot of other Mystic that can kind of mitigate him.
Yeah, that's very true. What's the Midnight Sun 16? It's iHulk, Blade, and
what, Red Skull?
Red Skull 2, yeah. Some people have been switching around for Doctor Strange as well, and both of them have been doing good work.
Yeah.
The thing about 16s is that you never have to play them unless you yourself also take a 16 threat.
That's very true.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that a bad matchup for us is really anything that is heavily attrition focused. We just don't have the defensive pieces to outside of Rhino and Lizard reducing, right? But I mean, take enough hits, they're gonna melt.
I guess you suffer from under a Goblin list. You'd suffer from the same weaknesses kind of Webs do, which are heavy attrition. Well, Webs a little bit less, but heavy attrition, but also like the condition game, because without Ock, you are vulnerable foes are vulnerable as well to conditions.
We also don't have really much size 4 displacement that isn't a team tactics card or Mysterio. So,
Gotcha.
Unless you have Carnage's Carnage rules to pull or
Yep.
to advance, or Rhino's robbery, Mysterio is kind of the one who can advance anybody. And then other than that, we don't really have access to a lot of size 4 throws. And that is definitely a problem because I think the big boys, so like the kaijus, are a problem for us.
Yeah. So weirdly enough, you have. Sorry, I was just going through on the immunity thing for conditions.
Mm-hmm.
There's one model in the entire affiliation who's immune to one thing, and that's Electro to shock.
Yeah. Yep. So we can take conditions, and we can be bullied by big threats. So like a Mortal Hulk or a regular. When I play against Hulk, I am probably playing a game plan where I am just out rotating him because I do not have the pieces to take him down, and I don't want to try. So that's the thing. Whereas if these guys don't feel like they can be put in a fight that they can win, then they have the tools to rotate and force movement, which to me is almost like pseudo staggering, right?
Yeah.
So if they have to be chased, then it's a form of kind of staggering. It's kind of why I have to play characters like Dracula in the list. And Black Cat, because I need access to staggers on kaijus and big threats, and I need to be able to take punches with Dracula and advance them away or use the spender to throw size 4. Otherwise, you're kind of letting them hang around.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. So I on our checklist here, I already kind of I guess like before we move to tactics cards and stuff, what any more highlights on like the specific characters you want to like just call out in affiliation at least?
I mean, I don't think so. I think if me personally, I can't stand Electro and I don't play him. I know other people like him and I understand that. I can't do a short move, medium base who just turrets, and if it doesn't do anything, then good luck with the rest of your turns. So I just don't. For less threat, you could be taking better things, or for the same threat, you could be like I'd at this point, I'd rather take Sandman for the beam to potentially move people around than worry about Electro shocking people. He also just dies to a stiff breeze, so it's very tough to get use out of the whole you get pinged for damage and you're shocked.
Yeah, he's good maybe in the Guardians matchup because the 4 defense on.
Yeah, I funny enough too. The mirror is also not great for foes because we have plenty of models that place. So with Electro and Rhino placing, we can proc, a mirror's traps.
Oh, yeah.
So we can be our own demise in that sense.
Yeah.
Webs
are like rotating. That too. Weirdly enough, they're their own worst enemy.
Yeah, so you can... I have suffered some pretty bad losses against mirrors where I have just gotten destroyed by, Lizard throwing me into traps and things like that. It's just stuff you can't avoid.
If you had to pick one model as the best mirror piece, I guess, what would it be?
As like an in-affiliation mirror?
Yeah.
That's a great question.
It's Vulture, isn't it?
No, I mean, I think you kind of have to lean. Maybe. That's a great question. Maybe you just lean Rhino because he can just take the hits and gain the power to do what he does right back to you. It's a game of who robberies first, Yeah,
that makes sense.
I assume Mysterio, I think, would be probably a good, like, if he gets his tricks and traps off, like that stealth, like profile and move away, it's probably really annoying to deal with.
Yeah, and it is true. We just have access to throws without damage, so you can always just toss him out, and an action to move from him sometimes can be pretty rough unless you place him properly. But I would agree.
It depends, if they start within range 3 or 2, right? Depending on their size, their throw, then Yeah, that makes sense.
It also hurts because Mysterio is better on your tight knit scenarios, and with foes wanting to play more wide stuff, if I'm forced into a wide versus wide foes, then I would just leave Mysterio alone. Where if I'm going like Wedding Party, or if I have to play Intrusions or something like that, he'll be great, but a foe's player usually isn't going to take that unless they want to go full on damage, which is there. It's viable.
Okay, then my answer would be a Craven that hits his triggers.
Yep. And I've had a Craven that has hit all of his triggers and then got blown up by traps because of the movement. but I would agree. That probably Craven would be my second best to probably shout out there.
If only because I think he starts the inevitable surprise head like train, right? If he gets the right stuff started.
Yeah, he starts the damage train, absolutely. And he makes good use out of, Craven, even with custom upgrades into foes, is really good in the mirror.
On theme. He loves hunting animals, and everyone here is an animal.
Some kind of thing, that's for sure.
Wow.
Well, I think a long time ago, more of a lore caveat here is, I guess the Spider-Man, they wanted the Spider-Man foes to kind of be based on elements or animals. So, as you can see, looking through them, maybe outside of Prowler, Sandman, Earth, Shocker, electricity, and then you have Electro too. I guess they're both.
What animal is Mysterio?
A unicorn. Look, it's over there. I swear.
No. It's a fishbowl.
He's a fishbowl.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
He might be more elemental, psychic force, or I don't know, but I obviously not every single spider foe that has ever been written is like that, but I know the original ones, Stanley wanted to kind of be in that theme, either animal or kind of elemental force. So
yeah, man, Green Goblin's a D&D race, so that's cool.
He's a goblin.
Yeah.
It's on the magic card. It says he's a goblin.
Yeah.
Norman Osborn is an actual goblin.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of which, the new Webs, I did end up buying a box of the Webs Magic the Gathering, and I did pull the coolest Green Goblin card. It's worth $30, which, for a Magic card, it's not bad, but it's a Norman Osborn, and then the other side transforms to a Green Goblin. It's one of the cooler cards I had. So, fun facts. I know that I understand that whole set is a money trap, but it's when you print stuff iconic characters on both sides, Spider Foes and Spider-Man. I'm gonna buy it at least one box.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
The art's amazing. The Gwenum art is really cool. Even they did a good job with Ben Wright. Every single person is just sick. So
yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, but okay. So let's go into some Tactics cards discussions. So obviously, Surprise Webhead is super good. Any kind of free attack usually is. So
yeah,
yep. You want to guide us through that?
Yeah. I mean, Surprise Webhead is basically I think out of Wakanda Forever and the Midnight Suns one. Why am I blanking on it?
Siege of Darkness.
Yes, Siege.
PTSD.
This is probably the worst of the three, just because one, it costs 2 per.
Well, what about Spider-Man?
Actually, Sean, the worst version actually is Lovable Misfits because you have to roll to get the attack.
Oh, good point. Good point.
Touche, Jim.
Yeah, finally, Guardians that don't get something that goes their way. Webhead is a great card for focusing down a character. So a lot of times I will use Webhead. Funny enough, if I can't get the leadership to pull through, there'll be a lot of times where I'll have a character alive on 1 and I'll use the leadership, or I'll use Surprise Webhead. And I'll spend the power to use the card to just get an extra attack out of it. And a lot of times, my opponent might ask, hey, why didn't you get more use out of the card? And I'm like, well, to be honest with you, this is the best use of the card, is to use it just, even if it's on one character, just to push, a damage through. I played a game, a long time ago, where I had somebody commit Star-Lord to a D side and picked up, I think it was a hammer, and I moved Rhino and I moved Ock, 4-threat Ock, over to that side, and I think I ended up getting him with like 2 damage left, and he had a hammer, and I just sprung it, and I sprung a surprise web head on him. Turn 1, right, and got the hammer, and I just cruised the rest of the game. So like if you're in those advantageous situations where you really need it and you think it's going to swing, you don't always need to use the card to just do the max amount of damage possible, because sometimes you will be spending it on characters that don't even get a chance to attack. So if you're using it with Goblin and Carnage and Rhino and all that, you're doing these 5 dice attacks, and you are pushing a damage or 2 that you need to get through. Sometimes it'll hurt you, where you'll choose, I guess it depends on whose effect you want to activate first. So say you go with Rhino for the place, well then you daze them. Goblin and Carnage don't get to do anything. Their power's gone. So sometimes it can hinder you for future power use. It may turn off portions of your kit, but I like to use it almost as like kind of if I'm chasing down a character, it's a great card to save. You can either burn it early or, when the opportunity arises, but it's a great late game card as well to kind of chase somebody down who's holding an extract that you may need.
Makes sense. The other one that I know is really popular is obviously custom upgrades. And strategic retreat too. Those 3, I think I see a lot.
Yep, Grand Illusion is usually stapled to Mysterio. Yeah. That is an unbelievable card, and it has done unbelievable work for me. I will, I don't necessarily always staple it to Mysterio. I just staple it to the scenario if I'm playing Mysterio. Robbery is not always an auto include, but if you're playing a Rhino, you should be playing it. Custom upgrades is great. It's going to be even better because you can stick it on Prowler, and you can have Prowler rolling range 4 6-die energy with the opportunity
with no rerolls. Oh man!
Yep, and you can potentially reroll all if you have the power. So you can basically get like an Eye of Agamotto special off an attack against webs without rerolls from range 4.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, so custom upgrades is going to be stapled to my 5, depending on. I mean, if you have to bait yourself out of if you're playing on a D, upgrades is great for holding a flank down and using it that way. I know I played a game against Kenny that you were watching where I threw custom upgrades on.
I'm always watching games.
Yeah, against Magic, and kind of just played a game of chicken of if you want to come get me. But I think the kind of surprise effect of it that people don't really see out of the card is I actually like to use it defensively. And I think that that's part of why Prowler, for example, right, has stealth, but he doesn't have any defensive tech per se. So I think that custom upgrades on Prowler, making him roll like 6/6/5, is pretty darn good on its own. I think the card boosting defense die kind of elevates everybody to a higher level. So if I know that if I don't have priority on like round 3 or 4, and I'm like staring at an apocalypse, I'll throw custom upgrades on a character. The downside is that, well, I guess it's kind of a game of chess, right? If I play it on Apocalypse, say I've got, Green Goblin, and I play it on him to up his defenses, then that kind of makes it so it's a little less interesting for your opponent to activate Apocalypse first. And maybe they go, well, I'm going to outwit you, and I'm going to activate somebody else first. And then you go, great, I'm going to get out of harm's way, kind of thing. Because they're like, I don't want to eat into the defensive tech and deal with that. So you can almost kind of play chess with the card. It's just you have to put yourself in a situation where you don't have like a war magic right next to you and is going to just knock you down for, because you're going to lose defense die if somebody else hits you. So you
I think Prowler is a good call out there because of the L move too on him now, so he can rotate away from or into where he wants to be.
Yeah, I think with these cards, I think you're going to see Prowler do a lot of interacting with objectives and playing the secure game and just tossing range 4s. I think you're going to be seeing a lot more of that than you think. And then when he needs to, jump into a fight if he has to have it. Because his kit doesn't really incentivize brawling as much. It's more so rotate the board, flip points, and then throw things to, do some plink on some damage here and there when you need to. And then when when you've got enough power to kind of dive in, then you jump in. And if you custom upgrades, right, like the game we had where I threw it on him and I ran into Noir and I used him as my target and just pierced him and just ran into him and used it for that. So like in situations like that, I think Prowler is going to be a very, very good upgrades piece.
So Jin, fun fact too, while we're on this caveat, I noticed that Noir card is really good to bait something like this into for webs, because on the other side of the board becomes like more available for you to do things. So it's kind of like a distraction card sometimes.
It is. It is.
Yep.
Absolutely. But I mean, other tactics cards besides that, obviously you're playing Brace. I play Sacrifice.
If I'm playing... have to talk about restricted cards, Sean.
Sure. Yeah. The only thing...
No, but we want to know which two, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing Ak, you want to play Fallback. If you're playing Goblin, you want to play Sacrifice. Reason I do it is because you want to take the second attack off of Carnage or take it off of Goblin and throw it onto either Dracula, Rhino, Lizard, anybody else, realistically.
I can imagine Goblin especially, because once he flips, he's kind of fucked.
Goblin is probably, funny enough, your most fragile piece, I think. Yeah. I mean, he can melt pretty quick. So it's kind of like
a Shield Nick Fury Jr.
Yeah.
You have to kind of protect your leader a bit.
Yep. He's good to sit on a corner point and just throw pumpkin bombs, juice himself up with enough power to blow up anybody who comes in close enough.
Yeah, and also stand there hating Peter Parker.
Yeah, and like, whispering under your breath like menacingly in the corner, rubbing your hands together.
Fuck that guy.
But doing nothing about it.
Hey, he's throwing pumpkins.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, Carnage rules. Obviously, you're kind of stapling the Carnage for the potential of 5 attacks in this affiliation with him. But I think that the problem with foes is finding the right space to play these cards. There isn't a whole lot of room to play other tactics cards. I think I would highly, highly shout out Survival here.
Yeah, I was going to actually, that came to my mind. Survival might be pretty solid.
Yep, because Goblin basically needs it to allow him to have his mega clapback turn when he dazes. Because usually, if Goblin flips and you don't have priority, they're going to focus him down. It has never failed that he is always the target.
Makes sense. What about founding members? I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow, what a terrible card. Why would you even bring that up? Let's bring up Sandman and Electro's card while we're at it.
You can give me right back and just talk about 4-threat Peter Parker.
I do actually want to ask about Neogenic Recombinator.
Sure.
For just a hot second. Only because, since Carnage has got better, you now have a model that can heal back to full health, right? So that payment of health, is not that bad to paying the character that's paying it, right? So, Lizard can afford maybe to give up a couple hit points. Carnage, obviously.
Right.
So, yeah. And if somehow Venom ever got better, in theory, he could also buy into it as well. But I'm mostly thinking about it in terms of Blizzard and Carnage. So, would you ever consider Neogenic Recombinator for let's say a cubes match or anything like that, or it's just too niche?
It's tough because your cards are almost kind of set for you to that extent. It almost feels like Carnage, without taking it off of somebody, it almost feels like he has Neogenic Recombinator built into his Paint the Town Red. It almost feels like it's within him. But I could see it where you could use it to maybe pull damage off of Rhino and put it onto Carnage or something like that. I mean, with the large health pools and the lack of certain defensive tech on characters, it's not a bad shout at all. It's more so maybe you mix it with custom upgrades and you take the damage off of, say Rhino is custom upgraded and you put it onto him and go, Rhino's taking some damage, here you go, and incentivize your opponent to attack him. But if he's upgraded, he's rolling 2 extra defense die. So it's harder to pink that damage onto him. So you could play the tactics cards within each other. But I think unless, like you said, unless you kind of have Carnage and Venom here and you're kind of playing between the two of them, it's tough to make it work. I think is it range 2 or range 3 between each other?
Range 3.
Is it range 3?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 3.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that's better. I definitely am not going to say it's a bad card at all. Just like I don't think Lizard's card, where he does the area attack.
Monkey Brain is Lizard Home.
I don't think that's a bad card either. I think it's just very niche. So
Imagine saying that in a game too.
I mean, that was a real comic quote at some point, so it's pretty hilarious.
Yeah,
but no, it is really powerful. Sizeless push, right? So
yes.
It's really good.
It's a great, if you want to throw Lizard on a wedding party and you want to use it, it's honestly not a bad shout at all.
Yeah. That's very true. The wedding party scenario, I liked it, especially in that one.
And those are kind of the scenarios that we really struggle with. They built up attrition.
What I realized yesterday? I also struggle with wedding party as a player.
Yeah.
I was I don't play on this. Yeah.
It is also why I'll shout Dracula again one more time, because you can long move him onto a party, attack somebody, give them Hex, and it makes it harder for them to take you down.
And then boop them away too, potentially. So.
Yes. So he does kind of fill those unwanted secures for these guys.
That makes sense. So I kind of went through. We kind of already talked about some cool, not seen characters, tactics cards. I know you're a fan of Kraven. But I think Craven's been seeing more up play anyways these days. So
yeah, he's seeing a lot of play. I think you probably find a lot more people who main foes that play him more than I do. But he's still a great character that saw a lot of love with the changes.
And we also kind of went through weaknesses and how to beat them.
Yes,
it's the same for kind of a lot of the scenario teams. So our last few episodes too, it's when we talk about webs, that stuff all applies here. So if you listen to us enough, conditioning, just more murdering them, straight up murdering them. Like you mentioned, a lot of the characters don't have defensive tech; they just have health. Mm-hmm. So if you can put out an obscene amount of damage, which to be fair, there are plenty of models in this game now that can.
Absolutely,
you can definitely kind of just whittle them down. Also, they don't like silk. An opposing silk?
No, nobody does.
That's true.
Nobody does.
I'm curious. I'm curious to listen back in a while about. I don't know. The new webs are coming out, and I think Noir was probably the most underslept model, but I'm not sure if people were "Oh, Silk's Nat." I think she's going to be a problem for some people.
So that actually kind of leads into a different point, right? For why you would want to play foes, right? Which is why we've been talking about her, but haven't really mentioned why, right? So foes have a lot of dive characters. A lot of medium move will get you to your opponent's secure, and I think that even if you don't do it, lining up in turn 0 to play those mind games is really, really beneficial. I mean, I've played games against webs and other factions where they've brought their own lizard and they've brought their own, black cat, and they focus that, the diving depending on what is available to them and who's on the other side of the board. But you shouldn't do it, but you've got Goblin who can, you've got Carnage who can, you've got Lizard who can. I mean, if you're playing Black Cat, she can do it. Silk does it, and Silk's probably your best person to do it here. Prowler does it, right? But Prowler also fixes... you shouldn't do it with Prowler. Prowler, all he does is he'll interact on one side of the board and allow you to put someone else down that can go and steal. Because you need to be able to, first and foremost, gather your own points up, right? Gather your own hammers or flip your own Guardians or your own Madman point. And then after that's all said and done, you need to lay out your characters in a way where you can leave a character on one side that maybe can go dive based off of terrain or based off of the opposing models. So Prowler allows you to grab an extract and interact with the secure all in one turn, which frees up a character like Silk to dive. Yeah. And she's not holding anything. So she can go grab something or she can go interact with Guardians, and good luck. Now they got to roll 2 out of 3 successes and they're not holding something. So, she allows the way for that, or she lets Carnage double walk. And if you're a foes player and you like playing Carnage, you learn very early on that you want to just double move Carnage into an advantageous situation of hit me, and either go ahead and try to daze me, and if you don't, then it's going to be a problem for you. And even if you,
whoa, wait, will it be Carnage?
there will be Carnage, yeah, or there'll be the hit for
like
5 dice.
Jin over here painting the town red.
Yeah, hit 7 dice, hit for 5 dice, and do 1 damage, right?
Yeah.
Which does happen
It does
more often
rule.
than you think. But even then, putting him in a position to go, yeah, he's 5-1-1 on his defensive stats, but like, don't let that scare you. Like Jin was saying earlier, I mean, he's very, very hardy. He's hard to take down. 8 off 1 die is still a lot,
Yeah.
So these guys, I mean, Dracula can dive too. So there you go. You've got a lot of characters that can kind of force your opponent's hand. And then this is where you play cards like Strategic Retreat. So if you go and you dive Lizard and he just starts getting wailed on, then you can say, all right, we'll see, I'm out and I'm going to go past this. And now your Rhino behind you or your Prowler behind you now has an extract that you now have to go deal with. And then Lizard, 1, has power, and 2 is he doesn't become a intriguing target anymore. So now he feels he is free to rotate the board and flip points as he wants.
Yeah. So I also just want, I think it's a good time to just maybe briefly, I don't know, Jin, maybe we do an episode on just like general, more advanced level tactics. Setting up, like, diving is an art that you have to have the models to do with, and
Yes.
B, know the exact right timing when you should go for someone else's objective. The only other caveat there being like when Jeff Trost plays Midnight Suns, he dives with A-bomb because it's kind of a safe dive.
Mm-hmm.
Most diving is not theoretically safe, right? But most games that are not, you just have to know when to do it. And diving, for those who don't know, is like taking your opponent's board side extract.
It would be
secure.
on their half of the board, right?
Yeah.
That you're kind of like, extending a model out to. And a lot of that, I think, has to come to the fact that it's like, okay, well, how are your deployments? How is your counter deployments? And now also, is the risk worth it?
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, I can clearly dive this point, but then I have like 6 shield guns pointing at me. That's probably not worth it because that guy is just going to get mulched, by the time he actually goes.
Yeah. It's kind of like the extreme, like everyone, you always think about, a lot of people will think about, should I take the midline objective, which you should, honestly, in a lot of games. Diving's the extreme of that, where you're like, should I take my opponent's objective where they can definitely hit me at least once, usually.
It's all,
And
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Sean.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just about to say that sometimes it's okay to abandon the plan and just try to set up for a future round to sort of like, set up a more advantageous situation, right?
Yep.
There's also been games where like the midline objective, if neither of you guys have a safe grab, you'd be like, it becomes like a game of chicken sometimes. Who's going to grab the midline?
Yeah.
Because
Yep. There are actually moments where I will line up Lizard and it'll look like turn 1. I'll go grab their extract on a B shape, and they'll line stuff up on that side, and I'll go first and go pick something up with like Dracula somewhere else. And so then they are like, well, what now? And then I wait till the end and I just double move Lizard and I will try to flip their secure instead of taking their extract. So like just him being in that spot to threaten it alone is enough to kind of get people to panic. But not only that, the one thing that I will say about diving with these guys is that it is extremely terrain dependent. That is being able to have cover and then being able to kind of get yourself in or out of cover, depending on if you play fallback or cards like that. That is super important for one, keeping your model around and still being able to go up on points early. But it's also great for like Fs. So it's great for foes, for example, right? If you take Lizard and you dive him,
foes?
if you dive him and you take like a Spider Infected, right, and you leave the middle untouched, and they are like, well, the middle one's there, I'm going to go grab it with somebody. Well, now you have Goblin. You've got a couple characters that can move and attack the midline if you wanted to get fun with it, right? And play it that way. So you kind of then open them up to a game of chicken as well.
I will say, like, some players, just from playing webs, one of the best things about Fs for extracts for like webs, and I'm guessing foes too here, is that like people expect you to like safe grab the middle, and then when you dive their own, they make like a move first, and then you dive like a different point. It always throws them off. So have that game plan like in mind if you're like taking FX tracks. So like you don't have to necessarily pick up the middle.
Right.
You can have like an alternative game plan, which is why long movers are great for diving in general. Or big base medium move or something like that. So
yeah, it's why you had to get 4-threat Miles and Silk, who are both long movers, and just can go jump on opponents' points.
I don't know if I dive Miles, but
well, the reason I say that is because your listeners and you guys too are probably going to see it more often because you see webs more often. So these kind of plans. I mean, I've watched a game the other day where both opponents playing webs both use their cat to dive each other's cubes. Like, and you're gonna be seeing stuff like that because they can.
No, you're very right. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they can, yeah.
Yeah, diving's going to be a thing again. If it wasn't already in your meta, you will probably see it.
Yep, and play Silk.
Yeah, and you might see Silk do it. So.
Yeah, and play Silk.
Yeah.
Don't leave home without Silk.
I don't want everyone to use Silk. Then what's the point?
if Silk becomes just an unchecked meta piece, then I will be the first to plug that I love meta pieces, and I will play her nonstop. And we can get off this whole Bill Shang, I won't touch them nonsense, and I'll just play Silk.
I mean, she's so cool as a character. But anyways, we're talking about foes, so I guess like to kind of start to wrap up here too. Any kind of, or Jin, you got any last thoughts too on like anything we talked about?
I'm just saying, shout outs to Sean also mentioning the custom upgrades Prowler. That's going to kill Silk, I think.
Yeah, that probably would. That'll make me reconsider having Silk in that particular matchup, maybe.
And it's like, oh, I can do this better, and then roll to kill.
Yes. Yep. You're gonna see it. I mean, it's gonna be warranted in specific situations, but when it goes off, it's gonna be fireworks.
I'm kind of liking the like foes webs mind game, almost kind of like the mirror. So I know a lot of people are like complaining, oh, webs are going to be everywhere, blah blah blah. To be honest, the mirror games that I've played with webs have been some of the most interesting MCP games I've played in recent memory.
Yeah.
So I really like the fact that now like there'll be this really cool thematic kind of like foes webs matchup too, where it's really you really have to like think and really have to like shift your pieces and kind of decide what you want to do. I mean, I think the new leadership solves a lot of issues, unfortunately, into the foes matchup, possibly, but I guess we'll see. Right?
Yeah, we shall see.
So any other kind of final... Well, I mean, we have one more thing here, and I do want you to say this, Sean, but Jin, do you have anything on the other stuff we've covered?
I also just want to always shout out custom upgrades because it's like my favorite card from this set. Custom upgrading Mysterio or Carnage is also hilarious to me because that defense die penalty kind of doesn't matter for those two characters.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. I played a couple games where I put it on Carnage, and the guy was like, "Cool, you don't roll any defense die," and I'm like, "Yeah, I do. You have to." Where it's to a minimum of 1 defensively. So yes, Carnage is also a great target.
Quick
Minimum
question,
1, baby.
Have you ever had a situation? Mysterio, you pay for, right, to get the non-mystic?
Yeah. The opponent has to pay 2.
Have you ever had a situation where the opponent couldn't pay the power and you got to roll 7 mystic? Defense.
Yes, actually. Yeah, I have.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times there are many characters in this game who don't start off with 2 power, so like Mysterio is free to kind of move to the midline and sit there and be safe and
be mysterious.
And like let him take hits and roll 5 dice, and then roll 7 when the time comes. I mean, yeah, I've done it before.
Yeah.
I've done it against someone who was had a point where she was forced to play Magic into him, and I used it, and she had to, no matter what, because it was just all Mystic. So, and she had to kill him, so the energy wasn't gonna cut it. So
yeah. Well, there we go. Cool. So, any recommendations for people wanting to start the affiliation?
Yeah, so there's a nice new box. There's a nice new shiny box that has lots of models in it and everything you need to get going.
That's right. That one has like 6 characters in it.
I don't think it has 3-threat or 4-threat Ock. and I don't believe it has. I think it's missing one other character in it. Maybe it's got a lot of characters, but I don't.
Yeah, there's like 10 characters in there. So let's see.
Yeah, I know.
The characters you get are Green Goblin, Mysterio, Carnage, Blizzard, Craven, Rhino, Vulture, Electro, that character you may have heard of, Sandman, and Shocker.
So there's space for Ock then. There's one free spot. Yeah, we just don't count Electro, and you got one free spot. Got the same base size too. You just,
as always, Alive on One is polarizing. I don't think Electro's like that polarized. You know what I mean? There's certain characters that, or certain decisions in this game that people are very polarized on. I don't think Electro's at the top of those.
Yeah,
debates.
no, he's just a personal. He's on my personal hit list.
Yeah, no, I mean, I see your logic there too. Like just having, the turret sit back, like it kind of feels like a waste of a 4 threat when you're already kind of struggling with 4 threats.
Yeah, agreed. I don't despise the guy. He just gets pushed out for me. I think it's just there's too many good options, and he gets pushed out.
Yeah, makes sense. So yeah, if you're a new player, buy that box. Any recommendations like for beginner tips on playing them, maybe?
Sure. I would say that if you want to play foes, I would start off with Goblin, because I think his leadership is a little bit easier to navigate. And I would kind of just run him with a bunch of affiliated characters and kind of get a feel for how they play. Maybe not play with Mysterio yet, and kind of ease him in, because he is one of the more complicated pieces that the list has to offer. But if you're looking for a bit of a puzzle and you're looking for an affiliation that can both, hit decently hard, but can also outmaneuver and do like fun little hijinks that, in the end, you still get punched by Spider-Man anyway. So cool. But all the fun little, tricks and traps and the small damages and bleeds that this affiliation puts out, and all those small things kind of add up. So it's just, if anything, these guys are kind of like more like annoying, and if you're into something where you can rotate the board and do small attacks and get a lot of movement and get a lot of displacement, I mean, these are your guys. They're not really, if I had to classify them as one thing, I would say that they're not great at anything in particular, but they're kind of good at everything.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, well-rounder team. And we used to have a term for that in 40K, and I totally forgot what it was. Space Marines.
Not sweaty?
It was
not
Space
sweaty.
Marine.
Yeah, not one of the 12 million Space Marine factions? Yeah, then...
I will say, though...
You consider these mid-ranger, right? And you just sort of have to declare, it's like, okay, I'm on the board. Am I the beatdown or are they the beatdown?
Yes. Yes. Know your strengths and weaknesses. But... these guys do kind of punish bad deployment, so just be careful that, depending on where you put them on the board, especially Mysterio, which is why I kind of say give him, maybe kind of ease him in gently. He can be very tough to navigate turn 0.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true for some of like the mission playing teams make you think differently, and they definitely play the mission. They're more, I would call them more of a scenario team than an attrition team. So you definitely you may not win every game, but you'll learn a lot of lessons.
Yeah, but their tactics cards also let them do a little bit of everything, right? Their tactics cards can boost defense die or attack die. They can jump points. They can attack. They kind of allow you to play whatever style of game the board dictates.
That's true. And Jin, you were about to say something?
Oh, if you were to watch my video on RSMP Tabletop, you would know that Mysterio, if you line him across the way of an objective midline, 2 small moves can get them to that objective.
Yep, just make sure that there is no terrain, because he barely makes it.
Oh yeah, if there's a lamppost or something that is awkwardly in the way, then it's like it's done.
Yeah, it's game over. Yep.
He's spoiled by lamps. Oh no.
Oh my god.
Oh, Quentin Beck, you hate light. But to plug that video again, I think that's Jin. I think I've been around you multiple times where people will come up and be like, "Oh, Jin, I love that movement or that base size movement video." So you can check that out on RSMP. It is a great video. I think when you released that, I even was like, oh, I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah, that's like the video I want to have everybody watch, and that's why I said it was episode 1. It's just like, hey guys, let's make sure we're all level set here, because like I see people deploy things all the time, and it's like it's rough sometimes if you've misplaced people, right, and it feels like really,
You're just
really
banging
bad.
your head on the table. God damn it! Watch
Just deploy everybody on the center. That never fails.
Well,
stack them on top of each other. Put them right in the
What?
To be honest, in a recent game, I eyeball. I don't know. There was like this piece of terrain, and I actually deployed behind someone because I wanted them all in the middle.
There you go.
But
rotate your board.
That's a great video, Jen. Great plug. And cool. So, any kind of final thoughts? We are at the 2-hour mark. Granted, we talked about like stupid shit for like 48 minutes. So,
yeah, it's important.
Yeah,
no
it's important to me, and it's important to our listeners. It's important to everyone except for fucking Mike Whalen.
yeah, guy named Mike. Take that.
Yeah, the random guy that no one fucking knows.
Yeah, take that guy named Mike. You don't know me, but I don't know you.
Guardians, but
oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, I know Mike. I've heard of him.
I would love someone to like listen to this podcast emphatically, but have never listened to any other podcasts. Like, it's like, why is the host so obsessed with this guy named Mike? Just like,
yo, he sent me a GIF the other day. That's like the Mean Girls thing. He's like, why are you so obsessed with me? On that note,
yeah. Now, what you should start doing is you should start messing with Photoshop and sending him photos of 72 armed Doc Ock. And just
you won't even know what we're talking about because you skipped the first 22 minutes.
That's fine. Just tell him it's niche. That's all.
But more importantly, any kind of final thoughts on foes?
They are a blast to put on the table and play. So I think if you're looking for something,
and hobby,
yes, yeah. some of the best looking models I think this game has produced. So if you just like painting, these guys are fantastic, enjoyable to paint. Mm-hmm. And I mean, sometimes they're, Carnage and Venom in particular, they're tough, but man, the models are beautiful.
Yeah. I actually bought an alternative sculpt Venom.
Ooh.
But yeah, that one looks pretty cool. When I was in my New Mutants era.
Yeah. Now that we've determined that these guys are all animals, I'm turning this list into Animal House. I can't wait.
You need like a frat house board to play on when people like come over, since you'll never leave with a baby.
I just realized now that I have Rocket in here that I'm kind of like already leaning into this without knowing. So
why is Rocket in Animal House?
He's not, but the rest of my foes are animals, so they're animals.
I got it.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about.
You could put I don't know if they make these. Etsy probably does. They do fucking everything, but like the the one things, the number with the finger up, you can put them on all your. You can put them on Doc 72 arms.
And my unicorn model, I don't know who it'll be yet. Oh, that's Rhino. There you go.
Lizard's kind of a unicorn, I guess.
No, Rhino's not a rhino. He's a unicorn. He's got a horn.
Oh, that's true. You could paint him up like a unicorn. I love it. All right. So any like final thoughts from gameplay or anything like that?
Yeah. If you like doing damage without attacking, these are your guys.
Oh, gotcha. Yep. Traps. Yeah. Jin, anything? Final thoughts?
Play them. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Love that plug.
I'm actually painting up Jin's Doc Ock because he was like, "Oh, I'd love to play foes in my spare not Doc Ock, Goblin in the next week or so."
I was gonna say, if it was Doc Ock, I was gonna say you know what to do, but Goblin could also have like a bunch of he could have a bunch of tentacles on him too.
Steven, I gave this to you with 4 arms and it came back with too many.
He'd be like, "Hey, you added a couple extra," and you're like, "What? What are you talking about?"
There's arms everywhere.
Yeah, the intention. It's
the amount of Doc Ock kits you'd have to buy just to do that conversion.
Yeah, it's a floor. It's just a floor full of the boxes, like the core sets. They're just everywhere.
Yeah, the same problem that Jin's having with getting the Spider-Man in that box.
Basically, yeah. But Sean, thank you again for coming here. Like, I think especially with webs like coming out, and we're seeing the web apocalypse soon. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people are asking, like, hey, what's good into them? And I think, thematically appropriate. I think foes actually have decent game, into this upcoming, Invoke faction. So maybe that means that foes might be more in vogue now, right?
Yeah, by Prowler.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a lot of him. But yeah, you're correct. I think that these guys are a nice little counter. But if anything, right, I think they make for really fun matchups.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
I don't think
thematic.
if you see foes across the table as a webs player, like that's not like this is an auto win. I think like it's 50-50 at that point.
Yep.
Like that's kind of where you want to be.
I also think that these guys across the table from you, like, you don't look at them and go, "Oh man, I have to play against foes." I think they're pretty fun to play against too. I think they're just a good time all around.
Yeah, it's like like I mentioned earlier, it's almost like playing into a semi mirror with like different model rule sets and stuff like that.
Yep.
So it can be a really interesting, unique, like high level thinking sometimes game. So
yeah, absolutely. But thank you guys for having me on. This was awesome.
Yeah, thanks so much. And so without further ado, I'll do the ending stuff. Follow us on Facebook if we even still use that. Our Discord link is below. You can email us liveon1@gmail.com. Check out RSMP. Jin's on there. Check out GameStore Guardians. That's the podcast that we mentioned, the elusive Mike. And please leave a review on Apple and Spotify or wherever you prefer to listen. Our affiliate, Huge Miniatures, is below. Really great paint stuff, really great basing and weathering things. And as always, Godspeed, Electro. All right. Thank you.